Hey guys, EGym here. Today I'm here with Jish and we're going to give you sort of like a quick vlog, like an overview of our thoughts and feelings about the wildcards that we were at last month, like just about the tournament, our preparation, and just everything that went into it basically.
Yeah, so for those who don't know me, I'm the coach of Chiefs. My name's Jish. So we'll start with before we left. So things like back in like when we were in OS and the finals and stuff. So the finals were really, really good. I think we sort of came into them really confident. We didn't really have much problems or much struggles with them. I think game 3 where we lost was pretty like upsetting, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. We still came through and got to go to Turkey.
It was just
Before we left,
really like the whole, like undefeated thing. They broke our undefeated streak. It was like 17-0 and then close enough.
I guess the only thing about like before we left was like the scrim quality and stuff. I think after we what would you say, like maybe after Dial semis and stuff, like before then when we had like the semi-finals, still scrimming was really good. And then post that we just sort of like lost scrims and oats, like no one would play, everyone sort of like was over for the season.
Yeah.
So
because everyone outside of like the playoffs tends to like stop playing, and so it's kind of hard to get like scrims. And then we're playing against Legacy, obviously. So there's like if there was, let's say, like 4 teams in the semis and above, right? There's only like 3 teams, or like there's 3 other teams. So they just take Legacy out. There's really only 2 teams we can play with, and it's like we're fighting over scrim partners with Legacy basically. So there's not much time for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard.
Yeah, and they obviously Legacy had their challenger team to scrim with. So I think we scrimmed a bit with like Sin and Immunity, but otherwise there weren't really many other great teams around.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the nature of the game. But yeah, like once we went over there, like because we boot camped in Berlin beforehand, so that was way better practice. So like outside of boot camping, like I know like the guys did a lot of fun stuff. Obviously, I wasn't there, so I don't know. Like Bryce, should say about a bit about what you guys did over there?
So we first of all like traveled to Berlin. We traveled all the way to Turkey, and then like all the way to Turkey, and then to Berlin, only to go back to Turkey later on. It was a bit weird. We stayed in like this apartment in the city, and it was like really close to like a train station. So we kind of just like trained it back and forth to the Case Ging like boot camp facilities, which is where like we'd spend most of our day. They had like a really good setup. There was just like a really long, like really big room. And like all the PCs there, and then like one on the other side for like the coach to sit and like help us out. And so streaming in EU, it was definitely like a lot better than streaming in OS, just by the nature of like EU's like such a big server, or EU West rather, and so there's just like more teams to play, and then obviously like EU West is a more established region, so there's better teams to play. And then on top of that, like not even the fact that they're better, but just that you're playing against people that you don't play against normally. So like if we scrim, like let's say Legacy, like we know everything they play, or like unless they're specifically hiding things from us, we know everything about them, that sort of thing. Like we know what their tendencies and their like how they sort of work as a team. So like playing against different teams that you never played against before is always really interesting. I think the biggest problem we had though with scrims was when we went over there. I think Juggernaut patch was 5.16. And we played wildcards on 5.15. So we went over there just like, and I think a day or 2 into like boot camp, like the client got patched, like live got patched. And so unless we were able to get scrims, which were like with teams that had access to the tournament realm, which we did because we scrimmed with Mouse Esports, who played in the
promotion tournament against Gambit.
Yeah, the EU promotion tournament. They didn't make it into the LCS, but we scrimmed with them the most out of everyone. They were really helpful and they were really good. So like practicing against them was really good. But like teams like that had access to the 20 realm because they were obviously challenger teams. But then we played like a bunch of UK teams that would only play us on live, so it was a bit awkward because like 5.16 was such a huge patch and it changed everything. Like all the new items like Dead Man's Plate, Titanic Hydra, all that sort of nonsense was like just introduced to the game. And in like any solo queue we played, obviously was on that patch as well. So it was kind of awkward timing, but overall like it was really good.
I'd agree with that. I think like we even had to like ask teams like we're like, can you just please not use these items or champions, like so we can just get practice for the previous patch and stuff. But yeah, back on like the Mouse topic, like Mouse were like really good partners because they played a lot of different things to us. So like you could feel like the clash of metas, I guess, or the regions. because they place like different priorities into like on different champions and like compositions and things. So like things like we got compositions that we would never get in O's just because they didn't ban or pick it, and then they'd still come out ahead with like their own compositions we wouldn't think about.
Yeah.
So like it was a really good learning curve for us, I think. And it was like way similar to like especially how Dark Passage played, I think, like because obviously Turkey share like a lot of the same scrim practices and stuff, or partners. So yeah.
Yeah, well, Turkey, I think most Turkish teams just naturally play on EU West instead of the Turkish server.
Well, it's better practice for them.
Yeah, yeah. And in Berlin as well, I just want to mention that we met up with Aneta from G2A, which is one of our sponsors, and they took us around the city. We did a couple of interviews, which you would have seen around the place. They gave us some cool gear, and they just made our time like a lot easier. Like when we're in the foreign country, and they kind of looked after us a bit, and it was really good.
Thank you very much, G2A.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, that was sort of Berlin, I guess, for the most part. Yeah, I mean, it was mainly just scrimming like as much as we could and practicing. That was the point of the boot camp, I guess. But yeah. So after that, we sort of like the team traveled back to Istanbul, where the international wildcard qualifiers were held. And again, like it was just scrimming and practicing as much as we could. But like, I think like you guys had to do a bit of media stuff or something, didn't you?
Yeah, we had to do a bit. Like before every tournament, we obviously have to do like a bit of media stuff. They do the interviews that they show on like the streams and whatnot, like asking us about like the other players, how we're feeling going into it. And but like the setup in Istanbul for like where we were staying was like we stayed at like the Radisson Blue Asia, I think it was called, and like each team, like you would have seen the video with Sam on the Chiefs Facebook, like going through like a walkthrough of where we were practicing, and it was actually a really cool setup because like each team had their own room, and like we had access to it like 24/7 because like it was literally on the second floor of like the hotel. So, or it wasn't even second floor. It was like on like the mezzanine level, I think. And yeah, anyway, like it was just a really cool setup, and like it was just really easy. And like we could come back even after the days where we played the wildcards. We could come back and like watch VODs together and go over things, and it was really good.
Yeah. And then you guys were like locked in the hotel as well.
Oh yeah, because because of security, like we were like prisoners. Like the security, like if we tried to leave, they'd be like, "Where are you going?" Like, "What are you doing?" But like I don't know. It was more a big joke than anything. But yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, that was sort of most of it. I mean, we got to scrim some really good teams both in Berlin and Istanbul. Mainly just shout out like massive thank you to Mouse because I think they played us like for 90% of our scrims.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think on the day one or the first, like we were first game up on for the tournament, and that was like on the very first day that obviously got cancelled.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I think like a lot of people sort of blew it out of proportion. I think on like the day and night, like we were really like annoyed about it, but you know, like at the end of the day, like it wasn't really that bad, especially after we came back and won the next day.
Yeah.
So like the first BKT draft, I think it was sort of similar to our and like the draft we ended up anyway, wasn't it? Like, from memory, because we banned the same champions and we still ended up first picking Shen.
Yeah, we got like Shen Elise, which we had anyway.
Yeah.
I guess like we can talk about the like. I guess I'll touch on like the game that was remade because a lot of people were interested in what actually happened. So like we were just like sitting in the room. So like this wildcards wasn't played in front of a stage. We were just in like the Turkish Riot Studios where they play. I think it's TCL, which is like the Turkish league. Like where they play their normal season because they play at LAN. And so we were like in these rooms, like basically across from each other, but they're all soundproof or whatever. Or meant to be. And so like we're all just sitting there playing, and then like it's like the draft phase, everything went completely fine. And I think for the first was it like 5 or 6, like maybe 10 minutes of the game? I'm not sure.
Yeah, like 6 to 8 minutes, I think.
Yeah, like before, we were just playing the game, and then suddenly everyone just like spikes to 500 ping, and like we all just disconnect, and we don't really know what's happening. And at this stage, Sam, or like Spooks, was playing Elise, and he was like doing his red buff, and then like because he's spiderling to the bush, which you get Grand Vision, right? And like there was like 3 of them in there, but we didn't have any vision because we disconnected, and then we all reconnect to the game, and there's like 3 people on top of him. Luckily he was Elise, so he just pressed his E button and repelled, and we all collapsed, and we ended up winning the fight. But then like that sort of thing just kind of kept happening. They kept having we don't actually know exactly what the issues were. There were obviously like network issues with the internet, where everyone, including BKT, were just like disconnecting at random times. It just so happened that those times were really disadvantageous for us because like Derek Radier was like tanking the tower at one point, and he's just like standing there, not being able to move. And I think like one of their players had like actual computer issues where they had to replace a computer. But like all up, we were just like sitting there, like really frustrated, like paused for I think the Reddit thread. Like I didn't know how long it was on the day, but I think like the Reddit thread said it was like an hour and 55 minutes.
It's a ridiculous amount of time, yeah.
Yeah, and then so like yeah, we like after that they just kind of like took us out of the game. They told us that like there'd be no more games for that day, and we all just went back to the hotel to try and like practice for the next day. They said they just like remake, and that's what we did.
Yeah, and I guess I was sort of lucky because originally the schedule was like we had 2 days playing and then a day off, and then we have finals.
Yeah.
So they just shifted that first day. Ended up just being like we had 2 days of group play, and then we just went straight into finals.
Yeah, they just removed the break day.
Yeah, so like overall, it didn't actually have a huge impact, I guess, on the scheduling.
Yeah.
But yeah, going into groups, I think we sort of like, I'm not sure like what everyone's thoughts were, but I think we always sort of thought BKT were going to be like really strong. And so when we came into that first game and we got ahead and then we remade and we won, I think everyone was like feeling pretty good about pretty good about our performance and stuff.
Yeah.
Who did we play next?
We played Dead FM.
We lost that game, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost that game. Right, yeah.
Was that? I was playing Alistar, yeah, and then like they had Callista, and then like we gave them Callista, and then yeah, we sort of like I just like flash balled I think in bot lane, and they had like double TP, and that was something that we found super interesting because like no competitive games in other regions have been played on this patch, and so like the Diana mid like double TP meta like was completely new to us, and it was something we'd never seen in OS, and then like we were just getting like completely dumpstered by it, like especially in this game, and like so within the group stage of the tournament, like we kind of had to like learn this the hard way, like we learned what was strong, and like that game was like really eye-opening for us. But like we basically gave Callista like 3 free kills, and then Callista snowballs like really hard, and we just lost, like the game just like kind of spiraled from there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, TP
you disagree?
TP hadn't been played in like played a bit by Godv or
in China, yeah.
Yeah, but
it wasn't like
we never played against it. And it's such a different thing to watch and then play against. Like
yeah.
Because even in that like later game against Dark Passage, when I think Naru was like 2-8 or something, and he still kept like splitting bot lane and just getting our inhibitor and stuff. Like
he just one shot me.
Yeah,
as a support, you just have no health, and then like 2-8 Diana just one shots you anyway. It's just like what?
Yeah, it was such a big like eye opener, and so I think like I wouldn't say we underrated Dead FM, but I think they like have really improved. Like Japan as a whole, especially like Ozen and Rampage, look really strong as well. Like I think like Japan looked really strong this showing. They took games like off us and other pretty big teams and stuff, despite ended up coming fourth as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the Dark Passage, our first Dark Passage game was really good as well. So even though like we gave them the TP Diana as well.
Yeah, but this time we kind of had an answer to it with the Ari, which
so
like you would have seen in the game.
Like that was the big like, adaptation.
Yeah,
because obviously the Victor loses naturally just to Diana and then can't like split against Diana.
Yeah.
So like the only thing we could have done against like Dead FM was we had to like put like Swiper, who was on Hecarim, against Diana, but that didn't really work out for us.
Yeah, he didn't have like because it wasn't. Was it lane swap? I'm not sure, but like Swiper didn't have Triforce yet anyway, so like he had no chance against that Diana, who had like kills as well, and then
yeah.
He just kind of like sit there getting shoved in and like slowly like bleeding out, and we were just like bleeding objectives on the map. But then the DP game, like Ari was a really good pick into Diana because like it has the early pressure and you take Ignite on Ari, so like you have early kill pressure to bully Diana. And I think I just like I was playing Thresh that game and I just like ganked Diana over and over again. Because like she just naturally shoves like in the wave to like win her lane. She just pushes in and then goes and roams and like tries to do things.
And there's nothing she can do. She's like so short range.
Yeah.
Like, she commits to the wave. Like
she commits to farming and then like you just punish her for that. So I think we did a really good job like countering or like adapting to the Diana pick.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then I think as well, just like that composition we ran was like something I guess we had a lot of success with like domestically, like the Silver Comp with like Maokai and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was like I think even though we won the first game pretty comfortably, I guess it was sort of throwy, I guess. Against like BKT, we had like that throw near bot, and then like they got to like our inhib, but The game against
What game was this? Was this against?
the first game against BKT when they had Varus? I remember like
Yeah.
Rady got caught over the wall or something near their blue buff.
Yeah, yeah. It took us like a while to close, like too long.
It was like a 50-minute game or something. So
Yeah.
like, that was a bit back and forth. But yeah, this game felt like a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like we knew that like BKT like that we could beat. Like we'd sort of comfortably done it like once or like 1.5 times, I guess.
Yeah.
And then ZFM, we just like they played really well, and we just sort of gave up like a stupid lead early. And then yeah, after like we beat DP, we thought okay, like it's a pretty good hold on the competition, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we were after the first day, like going like. Yeah, like winning the majority of our games, like 2-1, I guess. Like going 2-1 is like perfectly fine with everyone. Like we were felt pretty comfortable. Like even though like we probably rated DFM rather like the Japanese team as last. Like I personally like going into the tournament probably would have assumed that like I would have ranked the teams like DP, BKT, and then DFM. But like unlike what you said BKT. It's like difference in opinion, I guess. But yeah. So like even though we ranked them last, like they were the only ones we lost to. But because we beat the two like quote unquote stronger teams, like we were feeling pretty good about like the rest of group stage. Like we were feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So like the second day we had like Bangkok Titans again, and I feel like there was like this sort of like underlying pressure that we really wanted to consolidate that win after like the first game remake. Like we didn't want to go down like 1-1 or against them. Like yeah, and we actually like ended up running that same composition. Like we still had like the Civ and Maokai sort of like engage comp.
Yeah, we had TF this time.
Yeah.
So, which was like TF, because like at least like well we felt that like out of all of the teams at the wildcards, we felt that we had the best like macro play. Like so, we would just play the map better than those teams, and that if we didn't fall behind early, which is like for most of group stage basically, like in our games, if we didn't fall behind early, we would just like out rotate the teams, and we would just like take free objectives, and that was like the style we were going for. And so TF just became like TF just makes that so easy because like he can just like wave clear against like whatever mid laner. Like they were playing, I think at the BKT game, yeah, it was TF versus Ari, and so like even though like Ari should have like kill pressure and whatever, like Swiffer Simon just plays safe, and then like he just rotates around the map and like gets picks.
Yeah.
I think was this the game where he like ganked 2 lanes at once? He like altered top lane and then like TP'd bot.
Yeah.
I don't know. He did like Simon actually just like hard carried. It was like so good. Oh wait, and this was the backdoor game, right?
Yeah, this was the backdoor game.
Yeah, like where he just finished like we were just fighting Dragon, and then I just remember it so clearly. It was so funny. Simon was just like so calmly. He was just like, oh. I've won the game. He's just like, just stop the ports, and because like we're all panicking because like in the moment we're just like, oh, like we're losing Dragon. We're like I think Derek like ulted at them, and I was really confused for a second, and then like I think there was like a bunch of miscommunication at this Dragon fight, and then like we were just like stopping their backs, and Simon was just so calmly just like, I've won the game, and then I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah, I think because that was like they took TP on Ari as well.
Yeah.
So that was like the weirdest thing I think from that game.
They just wanted to like match the TF pressure, I guess. But like TF always has an advantage because he has ult and TP, so it's like.
Yeah. I think like, when we talked before about how like Ari has kill pressure with Ignite, I think that was probably like the better option. But I guess.
Yeah.
I mean that's G4's decision. Yeah, but it was like the same thing. So like when we went into the second ZFM game, we were just happy to like we got the Shen pick and we just wanted to try like play like the macro game again.
Yeah.
And this was the game where like you guys picked Jinx Leona, and I got so scared at home. I was like, oh no, what are we doing?
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we just like wanted to engage, and then like because they picked Hogmore, and then I don't know, like we just felt like it was like Leona would be a good pick, and then it worked out.
They fifth picked Olaf, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
because we were unsure because like we hadn't really seen it from them, and then we were unsure whether they would pull it out because Olaf was like at this time like Olaf was like coming into the meta. It'd been played in like NALCS, I think, like Darius played it or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it was like seeing some play, and so it was like kind of up and coming, and we like weren't quite sure because it had been a while since like the other teams had like played their finals or like played games that were scoutable. So like other than solo queue, it was unsure like whether like these things would be played,
what they'd bring out and stuff.
And then they ended up picking it, but I think we dealt with it really well. And that game,
we did 100%.
We made like a few errors, but like we were glad to win the game against like ZFM, like and not go 0-2 to anybody, because like especially with the round, like with just the nature of like how the round robin works, like it's better. like you don't really want to go like 0-2 against anyone because then you have like a worse record, and in any sort of like tiebreaker situation, it's kind of like hard.
Yeah.
And I think with that win on like Dead FM, it meant our next game versus DP meant absolutely nothing for us. Like we were confirmed in the finals. Like we'd locked our spot with that win. So like coming out of that one, like we were all pretty happy. Like we got through group stage, and like it was further than like the Chiefs got last year, and so we're all just like really happy to finally to make it into the final. And yeah.
And then even though we lost to DP, we still came out as first seed as well because of the other games that happened.
Yeah.
But that Dark Passage game was kind of sad as well because it was the same as the Dead FM game. It was like
we gave instead of Callisto, we just gave Fizz 3 kills.
Yeah, in like 5 minutes or something. So
yeah, well, like we did that because we had just done the same lane swap against every team. And like none of them had answered it with like, which is what DP did was perfectly correct. Like if we're gonna like force on top side, if they get there early enough with like extra people as we dive the top laner and like bait us into a fight, like we just got completely wrecked. And like I think I like flash poled forward, and then we like as people were like calling disengage, and then like I kind of died for free, and then someone like people that were in front of the tower were like, oh, was I Thresh? Okay. Yeah. I think I flash flayed, same thing. And so like we were in front of the tower, like in between the two turrets, and like we kind of just got wrecked. And then Fizz, we had like Maokai against Fizz, and so like in that matchup, like Maokai just wants to like lane swap or just like farm the lane phase and then like group. But with
Maokai just loses that matchup.
Yeah, he just like straight up loses, but you just like try to mitigate it. Like you just want to like farm and then group up. But like against the Fizz with 3 kills early, like Maokai just gets completely slaughtered, and then we just had nowhere to deal with it.
Crystal's Lee Sin was really good as well. Did he play that last year against Legacy?
Yeah. When I was on Legacy, like we went to Walkouts, he played Lee.
I actually like not until I obviously seen that game like against us, I was like, oh wait, he was actually a good Lee Sin, wasn't he? Like so I don't know, that was interesting.
Because Lee was like second tier, but they still picked him, and he did really well on it. And he went like Cleaver as well. He went like damage. He's
a man. Warrior Cleaver.
Yeah, he's a real man.
Yeah, so I don't know. That was like a disappointing way to end group stages, but I guess it was really irrelevant because we were like locked in first seed.
Yeah, ultimately it meant nothing, but yeah. But that was good.
So yeah, I guess and the last thing then was like the finals, I guess, which is like pretty disappointing really for us.
Yeah.
Like after we went 2-0 against like BKT, which like we went 1-1 against the other two teams, it sort of felt like we had like the good matchup into them, I guess, like at least statistically.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. So having like when I went back and looked over like the drafts like way later and stuff, I realized that like in our group stage games, like we started them with Siva in that second game, and then so in the finals they just put a lot of priority on Siva, and it just really suited like their style of play. Like they just like Bangkok Titans. I guess like if you guys haven't watched them play much or whatever, they feel like I don't know. Like I can't think of a team that like is similar style, but they're just really fight heavy. They're really skirmish heavy, and they just want to hard engage like all the time.
Yeah. And like in one of our group stage games, they were like 6k down. Like watching the VOD, they were like 6k down and still like contesting one of like a dragon, and it wasn't like it was 5th dragon that they have to contest. It was just like some kind of like 2 or 3, like some early dragon.
Fight.
Yeah, and they're just they'll just fight like all the time, like over everything, and it's actually really daunting to play against because it's not like you expect. Like, at least in OS, like, if we're, like, up 6k and, like, we have all the, like, dragon control, like, we'll just, like, expect teams to concede it sort of thing, and that's, like, what most teams would do, because it's, like, it's a really risky, like, play to fight
like
it.
how the world plays, like,
Yeah. And then, like, this team will just, like, Sivaralt and, like, Gragas will just flash in, and it's like, oh my god.
You just have a whole team on top of you.
Yeah, like, instantly. So, like, they have, like, really good synergy, like, with their team fights. They team fight really, really well.
Yeah, G4 and Lloyd are just like their mechanics and like they're like micro in team fights. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, Lloyd is also a crit god.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and that was like first game, second game. Oh, well, with the first game, like we didn't expect the cannon pick because like.
Yeah, that threw us off.
We prioritized Thresh because like it seemed to be like just doing really well on the tournament. Like I was playing well on it, and then they just picked cannon and like shoved us in. And like I think I got caught like once in lane with like a stun, and I copped like so much damage, and then from that point on they would just like shove us in, and because Kennen is like energy based and like has no mana, he just sits there like under tower just like spamming Qs, and like Thresh when you're behind is actually like he's incredibly useless because like in lane at least like you just want to roam, but like I couldn't roam because then Derek would just get dived, but it was just like I was just like sitting there under tower just like getting smashed, and then it just like snowballed.
Yeah, That's kind of like
That's kind of what happened. Like we just got smashed, and then the game snowballed.
yeah,
And then like they just picked like really good fights in our jungle. Like even when we thought we like had catches, like every now and again, like they just collapse and like Siva Cannon just like gets on you and then like locks you down so quickly.
yeah. And then like they had like the Yasuo as well, so like they had
Yeah.
like easy initiation like from like Maokai Q or Rek'Sai like knock up.
Yeah,
So
Rek'Sai Yasuo they prioritized a lot. Like they
yeah,
did really like they did a lot of work with.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think like going to the second game as well, like they first picked the Sivir, and that was
Yeah.
I think what sort of like that note like that was like the alarm bell raised for us sort of where we were like, oh okay, Sivir's like important in this series.
Yeah, because
Um,
each sort of like series gets its own like metagame.
yeah. So like the like important picks and stuff change depending on
Yeah.
who's playing, and the patch and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, and this game was really close. Like Swiffer was like 12-3 or something.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and so like it was sort of like the back and forth game a bit, I guess. But this was like when Diana with TP came back and got us again.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Double TP.
and yeah, and it was like I think there was like a fight near Baron or something that like sort of typified it a little bit because the Mundo Sejuani was just like such a huge front line as well, and
Yeah.
we like couldn't break it. So I don't know. That game was sort of sad.
I think this was like the game where like Radiant jumped in on Tristana and then like Siva just like auto W auto and crit him 3 times and he instantly died.
Yeah,
It was like if he did like if he didn't crit we would have got Baron and like it would have been a completely different game. But then like Derek literally just got crit in the face and he just died and then things went downhill.
Yeah, and it was 'cause he jumped in because he had like Lulu ult and shield.
Yeah, we had like everything like for
completely
him.
fine time to actually jump in and try
Yeah.
to finish the fight. I think like the casters, I don't remember who the casters were, but the casters like sort of like criticized him for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think it's really fair. Like in any other
everywhere in the world was
situation.
doing that. Yeah, everywhere in the world would have jumped in there. You don't like account for like 4 crits or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That was like supremely unlucky to get
Yeah.
4 times in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I guess they played well like around it, not just crit. Like, they didn't win from crits, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
no. But yeah.
that was a big part of the game.
Yeah, and then we lost that game, and the next game was their Shyvana game. Oh, this is the game we won. Yeah, so like next game we picked. They gave us TF again, which was like basically typified like how we win games because we got TF, and then like we had Siva for like we took the Siva this game, because like what you were talking about, like the high priority on that, and then I was like playing Annie, and so like we had a lot of engage. We had like Olaf like. TF to like move around the map, Siva, Olaf, like Annie, and then like Elise for like peak potential and stuff. And we just like got ahead early, and then like we just snowballed it really well, I think. Like I got caught a few times. I think like we messed up here and there, but
no, the game was pretty solid, and like the big like I think the big factor was I don't remember if it was either US Spooks or something came to help Swiffer early, and because obviously that TF Fizz matchup is like horrendous
awful.
for TF. Yeah. So I think Swiffer actually got a kill early into that, which was pretty impressive. And then like once Fizz got behind, he was just like useless.
Yeah.
Not useless, but like more useless than he should have been, I guess, because it meant Swiffer could just run the map. And when we had that double TP in play, like we just were a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Which was sort of another thing that came from this series, I guess, because obviously, our scouting, at least, we thought that Bangkok Titans, their top laner Warlock was like a big Shen player. Which is true. Like the stats, he played it a lot during the regular season and stuff. So that champion just became a permanent red side ban, and so did Calista in that series.
Yeah.
So like that was one of the things that we came in on a high on. Like the macro play was taken away from us like the entire like game. And like I guess in hindsight, like you can look at it and say maybe if we left it open or whatever, but I don't know. Like it's interesting to consider, but I think like that TF game where we just had like the map control and then we had like the hard picks and stuff with like Siva Annie and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really good for us to like. Obviously, if we lost that game, we would have lost the series. And so I was like, after losing, like going 0-2, everyone's feeling like down, and like to get that win is like really important to like remotivate, and like everyone gets like pumped up, and like that we're not just getting like completely steamrolled. Like we just don't go 0-3.
Yeah.
And then we just lost the next game.
Yeah. So like we were just like let's ban Siva, and obviously like Calista and Shen were still staple bans.
Yeah.
And I don't like they banned Olaf against us, which was sort of okay, I guess. But
yeah,
the TF ban just sort of like TF and Shen being off the table just sort of really limited our like macro play, I guess.
Yeah.
And like because like Swiffer can play Diana with the TP, so like we tried that. And I guess like that didn't work out great. I mean that famous bot lane fight or whatever with the two TPs or
yes, like Swiffer's like, oh, like, I can split, and then they're gonna send two, and then I'm gonna ward and Zhonya's, and then we can kill them. And then he just didn't ward, so it looked so bad because like Swiper tries to TP and there's nothing to TP to, and he's just waiting for the ward, and then like it just like watching the replay is actually just god awful, and then
it's upsetting to say the least.
and then we just we just got smashed and we just lost the game.
Yeah, and that's when they brought out their the Yasuo Rek'Sai again.
Yeah.
So I think like against like Oceanic teams, like drafting wise, this was like such a wake up call or such a different like sort of style because like just the champions alone they picked like Mundo, Shyvana, Sejuani and stuff like, and then like just G4 played like for like every champion in the game.
Yeah.
So it's like we target banned him. Like we banned this Diana, I think. Like some like in a game or two or something. But it's irrelevant.
And because he played like Yasuo, Echo, Diana, like Victor. Oh, did he play Victor? Fizz, like
Yeah, he played Fizz. In the first game, we banned his Vladimir or something in group stages, and we're just like, there's no point. Like he can just play everything. Like because we banned that because they played like this Civ of Vlad comp that like looked really good domestically, I guess.
Yeah.
But when it came down to it, it was like he can just play everything.
Yeah.
And he can play everything really well. So.
Yeah, he's just like G4's just a really strong mid laner.
Like he's not afraid to pull out like different like.
Yeah, like off meta. Yeah. So like overall, I think with the finals, like we were all a bit disappointed. Like I think definitely like we all kind of individually underperformed, and then like as a team we obviously underperformed. And like I think it was a combination of like BKT played a lot better than they did during group stage, and we played worse, and so like they were the better team on the day, and like so they won.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I'd say like they sort of they didn't really change much, but like they sort of started showing stuff that they hadn't shown earlier. Like we knew that their top laner played like Mundo and Shyvana and things like that. But during group stages, every team just gave him Maokai or Lulu sometimes.
Yeah.
And so like things like that sort of like impacted us because we were like if we put early priority on Maokai, then he's left with nothing to play. And then he pulled out Mundo 2 games in a row and he did well on them both times.
Yeah.
So
that's weird.
Like, they were like he's a champion that's like not that good, but it's like some like in some situations just works really well. And so like against these like when they had like these big frontline teams, we just couldn't do anything to it. We could have with the Vayne pick, but I don't know. No, they played really well. And like as I said before, like G4 and Lloyd really stepped up. I thought. I really want to see like how they do it well. It's because like on that lineup, I guess those two will be like really interesting to see, especially G4, just like in the 1v1. Against like international players.
Against like top tier, like
yeah. Because they're in group. They're in the group with Faker, Horn, and Ryu, I think. So like that'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be fun mid lane matchups to watch. So
yeah. Hopefully they do alright. Like I don't expect them to win any games, to be honest. Like I wouldn't expect us to win games if we went to Worlds. But
I think H2K will be interesting because H2K are the third place team from Europe.
True.
But, like I think H2K are like I don't know, maybe I'm overestimating us, but they're sort of like I think they're the better version of us in the sense that they're really like methodical and macro oriented and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like it'll be interesting to see. I suppose obviously SKT are like even better than that, but it'll be interesting to see like the tiers of like what can BKT sort of quote unquote chaos style. The chaos style term really annoys me, but yeah, like that whole like fight centric sort of style is just upsetting because it's not like how the game should be played, but it works really well for them. So
yeah.
It'll be good to see how they do like internationally.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, I mean, that was sort of the end of it. They definitely performed better on the day. So yeah, the team sort of, I guess they're all upset, but like, I think they sort of came back not proud, but like I guess like a little bit happy. Like we done like better than before. Against like in Oceania's history, that's probably the best performance.
Classic O's like, do well in group stage, choke in finals.
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not do well when it counts.
Yeah. Pretty much. But yeah, like after that, like I guess Like, yeah, that was the end of the tournament. Like, we went back to the hotel. We hung out with like the Japanese team that night. They were really cool. We swapped jerseys with them. They were like really nice. And, like talking to them was pretty cool. And then yeah, my long decided to I don't know die like on the day of the last game. I know it's not as bad as it sounds, but like I had to stay like another week when everyone flew home on a Sunday. I had to like stay in the hotel another week, so I just stayed back and like taxied it to the riot office during the days. And I just played like EUS solo queue, so I was just like on a like mini like extension of my holiday basically over in Turkey. It's like playing EUS solo queue in the riot offices in the air conditioning, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, now we're back in OS.
Pretty famous people.
Yeah.
Played with Broken Shard, head coach of Dignitas.
Yeah, I played with Yellowstar. Yellowstar took jungle. I mean, oh no, he didn't take jungle. I asked for support, and then he gave me support, and then he picked jungle, and then he played really well. But then he missed the smite on the Baron, and we lost the game, and I was really sad. But yeah, and then like I don't know, I played with like Crepo and stuff, and that was cool. But yeah, like
watching the streams and stuff and seeing your name was kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know, like that was sort of I guess like our wildcard trip. There was I guess like that sort of encapsulates all of our journey. Overall, I thought it was like a really good experience, despite losing. Like, I think to walk away from the tournament and be called like the best macro-oriented team, or like called like the team that was sort of, it was like that wasn't like our term. I mean, the casters were saying that as well about us, like that we had like the best grasp on like macro play and stuff like that.
The OS casters were saying that about us.
Yeah,
yeah. But anyway,
that was a small victory, I guess, that we could come away like. But we were like we were like a team that sort of had the chance. But
OS casters praising the OS team. But yeah, no, I think yeah, we're all pretty like happy with it. And now like we're back in OS, and I guess the next thing to focus on is like All Stars, which should be pretty interesting. Make sure you vote for all the Chiefs.
Make sure you vote for the Chiefs Esports Club. Especially their coach, if they do coach voting. I would love to but no, just vote for the Chiefs guys, because if we want to get back at all of the international teams, especially BKT. So hopefully they send like G4 and Lloyd or something, and we can
send me.
We can go back against them head to head.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I think yeah, that should wrap up about everything.
Yeah. So thank you very much for watching us, guys. Hopefully this vlog was sort of a little bit insightful. Maybe you learned a little bit about our wildcard experience and stuff. Just a massive thank you again to Case King for the bootcamp, Mouse again for the scrims, and our sponsors, of course, G2A, Nvidia, and Logitech for putting up with us and helping us become the best team we possibly can. And
Red Bull as well. Or fueling us with our boot camps. They came in like delivered like crates of Red Bull, and it was like, yeah, it was really good. Staying up late playing like EU solo queue, just like fueled on Red Bull, was pretty cool.
So thank you very much, guys. Hopefully we'll see or speak to you pretty soon.